Welcome to another edition of Conversation with Bill Springfield. Today I'm at the Clark County Fairgrounds under a beautiful shelter house, and I am with Dean Blair. He is the Executive Director of the Agricultural Society of Clark County. Did I get that correct?
Well said. Well done.
Great. Now tell us what that means.
Well, we're so glad to have you here, Michele, on such a beautiful day.
So it is gorgeous.
The Clark County Agricultural Society basically manages, maintains, and operates the county property known as the county fairgrounds.
Okay.
In addition, the Agriculture Society also owns all of the lake property adjacent to the fairgrounds. We have 180 acres that we own that has the lake on it, and so together it gives us an over 300 acre complex here that we're operating, maintaining, and doing events on.
And that's huge. And I don't think a lot of people know about the lake until you started doing Wake at the Lake, right?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So we'll do Wake at the Lake this year.
Yeah.
This will be our fourth Wake at the Lake.
Yeah.
And that is a tunnel boat race exceeding speeds of 120 miles an hour with up to 23 professional drivers on it at one time. It's a fun event. It's going to be socially distanced this year, and it will be a lot of fun on August 8th and 9th, as it always is.
Oh, I've been out here for it. If you haven't come, you need to bring the family. My grandson thinks it's the greatest thing about it. It's a blast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and great people. It's just one big tailgate party, and you get to watch some racing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Normally we do a concert at it, but because of social distance reasons, there will be no concert this year.
But just the racing.
But many of the aspects of the race will be just as you've experienced before.
That's cool. That's cool.
And then in addition to the boat races, we also have, for example, Wittenberg was out just the other day, and they will move forward with the NCAC, which is the big cross-country event, multi-collegiate event this fall, and so we'll have probably 8 different colleges involved. We do about 15 to 25 cross-country events a year on the cross-country course that we built.
Idea. Yeah,
and we build it predominantly on the lake property, although it begins on the fairgrounds property over here, and then finishes right in front of the grandstands. As the state of Ohio told us, we have the most effective cross-country track in Ohio that they're aware of, with 0 deficiencies.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And I would think that would be something you could continue to do.
Absolutely. There's a lot of social distance in that running and all that.
That's right. And you're outside. Outside's the best place to be.
Absolutely.
For all this crazy pandemic stuff. So we were having a fair, we weren't having a fair, now we're having a type of fair. Tell us about that.
We're having a junior fair, and what a junior fair means, it's almost easier to say what's not here than what is here. So a junior fair is 4-H and FFA livestock shows only. And so there will not be all the circus type shows, there won't be the games, the rides, the music, the amusements. All of that sort of thing is not here this year. We won't have any of the buildings, the exhibits that are done with quilting and flowers and that sort of thing won't be here either, nor will the mercantile, all the businesses represented in the booths in the mercantile building this year. Some of the exhibits that youth would have, like the youth building, are not present. This is strictly the livestock shows, and some great news. If you're not coming to the fair, if you don't feel safe coming to the fair, number one, you need to follow us on Clark County Fair. That's the name of the page, Clark County Fair Facebook page, where you'll see all 300 events we do. We've posted daily for the last 2 months on things that'll happen at the fair. And so one of the things that next week will be announced is all the links. So if you have a family member, let's say you have a grandchild that's short a rabbit, and you don't want to come out to the fair, you can see on Facebook next week where that link, each species will have its own link. And you'll simply touch that link and you will see at least one of the shows, if not all the shows. Not all the species will be able to afford to broadcast all the shows, but each species is doing at least one show. And you'll see very possibly your grandkids on that.
Well, that's wonderful.
And it's really a cool thing that we've never done before. For example, where we sit today, these tables will be removed. Normally this is a picnic area for the fair. Instead, this is where the rabbit show will take place. And I know for a fact this show will be live streamed. And so you'll simply see that link, keep that link handy for the entire 5-day fair. It's only 5 days this year. And so it's the 25th through the 29th. We'll still have about 350 to 400 camper families here living for those 5 days or part of those 5 days. And we'll have about 14 food vendors instead of 63.
Well, that's why I come out.
There you go. None of them will be in their normal area.
Okay.
So they're all going to be just over here behind this wall
Okay.
in a big wagon wheel circle right in front of the youth building, right in front of the
nice.
Sheriff's Command Center,
Yeah.
and that's where that'll take place.
Well, that'd be nice. So you've spread out the different shows.
Yes,
So
yes we
it's
have.
the different buildings for different things.
Yes.
So people just have to come and get the program and they'll figure out where they need to be.
You can look at that on Facebook too.
Oh,
The
that's
Junior
great.
Fair program and schedule, if you go back about, maybe 24 posts, you'll see the whole Junior Fair schedule right there. The other place you can find all this, clarkco.ag, clarkcoag.com. I said that wrong, clarkcoag.com. And that's our website. You'll find all of this stuff. And also if you've got a young person that's going to have an animal in the auction. This is a virtual auction this year. So like my grandkids, I can go online right now and register as a buyer today. But that's all I can do today.
Okay.
Now when the fair is just wrapping up, that's when the online auction takes place and you can buy 2 different ways. And never come out here. So you can register now. You go online, let's say I register, I'm looking for my grandsons, I scroll down and I find their name, there's their steer, and I could bid on that and bid against you and try and be the high bidder or whoever else is bidding, or I can choose to just do what used to be called a multiple buyer sheet and put money on a child,
Okay.
and now that's a touch point, so we don't do that anymore. So what we're doing is called an add-on on this auction. So I can scroll down and find the kids. There's my grandson. I'm going to put $50 on that. And that compounds with anybody else that puts money on there too.
Okay.
So it's a great effective way to support the fair and never leave your room.
That's right, and support the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what it's about because this has been, I think, so hard on everybody. High anxiety. The kids are at school, they're not seeing their friends, and then they raise their animals and they look forward to the fair.
Absolutely.
Everybody's a little bit competitive.
So we normally have about 1,450 kids, and I can tell you right now we got about 1,137 that are still involved this year.
Wow.
We lost a few because
I
of
think
COVID.
that's still pretty good.
It's very strong.
Yeah.
But we're the birthplace of 4-H, so
That's
we're
right.
better than right here in Clark County.
That's right. So, yeah, got all the support you can use, I'm sure.
Amen. Absolutely.
Tell us some other events that the fairgrounds, either in the pandemic or outside the pandemic, on normal times, like the...
Well, we're back doing it, so I'll talk
Yeah.
about things we've done during the
Perfect.
COVID situation.
Perfect.
We did Walneck's motorcycle swap meet. We do about 5 of
Okay.
those a year. We did our first one. We went about 4 months there where we did nothing and couldn't. So we did our first motorcycle swap meet again back about 4 weeks ago. We got another one coming in August. Very, very proud of the compliance with that. I'll
that's
explain a little bit of
Yeah.
that in a moment because it's the same at all the events.
Okay.
And we did a cars and parts show, had to modify it a little bit, touch points like trophies. We got rid of that, emblems that you put on your dash or something, so the car show part was not part of the cars and parts this time.
Okay.
But full-scale swap meet, very compliant, very nice event, very safe and fun to come to. And then we just finished an antique extravaganza.
Right.
Now, granted, it was about 50% as many vendors, about 50% the crowd, which is still huge.
Yeah.
But it was very compliant, very socially distant. Things that were a little different there. Typically, there's a beer garden. That wasn't done this time. No DJ this time.
Okay.
We try and avoid things that are going to cause crowds to
Right.
come and be right there. That's why we don't do the music at the fair.
Sure.
But you're going to see things, look at those green arrows out on the asphalt. We took all the pedestrian areas, divided them like a divided highway.
Okay.
And then we put directional green arrows showing, and if you'd have been here for like cars and parts, you'd see where people were walking one way down through booths, and they're coming back the other way down through booths.
Good idea.
And then we have about 200 of these signs that say, remember to stay 6 feet apart, stay 1 cow apart. We put a little humor into that.
That's right.
And so we've done that. There's 200 of those around our campground and inside our buildings, outside our buildings. And speaking of our buildings, we've lowered the number of vendors, of course, inside of those. The bulk of the show we're trying to have outside. And you can pick and choose. So when you come out here, you do what you're comfortable with.
Sure.
And if you don't want to touch anything, touch nothing and just walk around and enjoy the outdoor air. If you're comfortable to go into a building, go into a building. You can do those kind of things and pick and choose. And so we're real thrilled with the events we're back having now.
Right.
We've got a very busy 4-month schedule coming up.
Oh, that's
and,
great.
and we've got a lot of stuff to do. These that I just talked about were made up from May.
Wow.
So we have the normal September Cars and Parts, September extravaganza. Of course, we talked about Wake the Lake in August.
Right.
We also have an all-new event that we're very excited about called Freedom Tour. It's 100% charity,
yeah.
and it goes for the grocery desert that was created in the south end of Springfield
Sure was.
when the Kroger's closed.
Right.
That now has a name. That's called Four Corners.
Okay.
And so the two charities that will benefit out of Freedom Tour are Four Corners and the Clark County Agricultural Endowment Fund that we created 2 years ago here for us.
Okay.
And so the Freedom Tour is going to take place on the other side of the grandstands out there. It's drive-in theater style. So the people that are our age are going to really love it.
Yes,
So what you do, you buy your ticket in advance. Right now you buy your tickets because we don't want touch points. No tickets sold at the event.
Okay.
$35 for your car. Doesn't matter how many people's in it. It's kind of drive-in style.
Right.
$50 for a truck or SUV. Doesn't matter how many people, but you always have to have less than 10.
Right.
If you want to pay $150, you can bring a motor home and spend the night all night. But let's say you bring your car right there today. And let's say 5 of your friends come with you. So you drive in, you've got your ticket in advance. It's July 31st, Friday night. Gates open at 5 p.m. the last Friday in July.
Okay.
So you show up with your van right there. You got 5 of your friends. Coolers are allowed. This is a non-fair event. So you bring your own cooler, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
And so you show up with your cooler and you park out there drive-in style. You're socially parked distant from another car by 6 feet or more. You have about an 8-foot by 8-foot area behind your car, so you can get a couple lawn chairs out. You don't have to stay in your car, just in your space.
Right.
And so you get out and you're allowed to walk over to the half a dozen food trucks we have, get your food, return back to your space. And so about 7, the show's going to start. Stranger out of Dayton, Ohio, rock and roll band. Big deal. They're the warm-up acts, so they start playing. I've seen this done in the past with the groups that come in, and they paratroop out. Here come the skydivers. And the American music is playing, and it's the goosebump moment. You're going to feel really great. They're coming in with American flags strapped to their legs and their arms, and you just feel really great with all this American music, and you see it. Those guys can land on a postage stamp.
Right,
they can land on top of this table.
Yeah.
So they're going to come in. Now, we're already doing this. The stage is on top of the levee, right before you get into the lake. And everybody's aimed parked at that. So it's 13 feet in the air. So you're going to be able to see it. And here they're going to land on top of that. So they land, you go back to a little eating, a little drinking, a little music, and then that band gets done. And then here comes the Aerosmith tribute band, Walk This Way. That's our main band, and they come up and they start playing. Well, as the evening develops and all of a sudden it starts to get a little dusk, all of a sudden, because the program wraps up about 10, here come the skydivers again. But this time they're coming in hot. They've got fireworks attached to them, and they're shooting them off as they're coming down. And so they're doing all that, and then there's a little pyrotechnics show, a little mini fireworks show, about 5 minutes long, that blows off right behind Shelley here next door to the fairgrounds.
Okay.
And so then that's the end of the evening, 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. What a great event.
Time.
What a fun time. They say there's nothing to do in Springfield. Right. Here's your chance.
That's right.
And if this works and is successful, I'll guarantee you Dillon Events will be doing this again. Dillon is new to town, and I'll guarantee they built Austin Landing, and they sold it. And they did all the events every weekend there. And we're so happy to have them here now.
Right.
And so this is the first that they're doing with us. We want to make this work good. They birthed it in Clark County, and some of our own Clark County vendors, like the guy doing the stage and the sound, he's on the road with them. Now there's 7 Freedom Tours in Ohio, but there's Springfield food vendors, Springfield car parking vendors, Springfield music and sound guys that are going on the road doing all of these. So it's good for our economy.
It is, yeah. That's wonderful.
All the money goes to charity. So again, if you're 80 years old and hate rock and roll, buy a ticket, because it's not like you're buying slot number 27. You're buying a drive-in ticket.
Right.
And so buy a $50 ticket. I bought a ticket. I don't need a ticket, but it's all going to charity.
Right.
What a great thing to do and support Springfield.
It is. That's wonderful. And that's exciting, like you said, something to do.
Absolutely.
They drive in everything. They did that with fireworks down in Beaver Creek. It was kind of a drive-in thing, and everybody was separated.
Oh, and I got to tell you, Michelle, I didn't tell you, we developed a no-tow policy here at the fairgrounds for this event.
Okay.
Because we never, ever encourage impaired driving.
Right.
So let's say you brought something in your cooler and something
Yeah.
happened, that you just shouldn't drive.
Sure.
Call a friend, call a family member, call a Lyft, call an Uber. Leave your car. We won't tow it for 24 hours.
Oh,
That's the policy here.
Right. That's great. Well, I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm excited the fair. I'm excited we're getting back to some type of normalcy. It's just weighed heavy on everybody. And,
Amen.
We all want it over, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon, unfortunately. I just have to tell you, you have done a fantastic job with this fairgrounds and with the fair. It is beautiful out here. It's welcoming. You go out of your way to make vendors and people who participate feel good about coming out here. So I appreciate it.
That's very kind of you, but I got to tell you, I get zero credit, and you ain't seen nothing yet. We're just getting warmed up. It's because of companies like Villa of Springfield. It's because of people like yourself talking about supporting Wake the Lake. You can have a little bit of energy, but unless the people come forward with the bags of gold to support and attend the events, buy the tickets for Freedom Tour. By the way, the fair is free this year. There's no ticket for that. That's a general admission, free, no gate, because there's really nothing to see.
Right.
And so if you do want to come out, the gates are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day of the 5 days.
I'm sure you'll get some people out to eat some fair food.
Probably so. But we're sure proud of Villa of Springfield. You're a great organization. You've been around a long time. I was personally involved with it several times.
Yes.
I know what a great job you do there. And so happy to see you there. We've been friends for 40 years now, and you do a wonderful job.
Since we were 2. Well, Dean, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Michelle.
Everybody come out, support the fairgrounds. If somebody just wanted to donate to the fairgrounds, since there's no fair this year, and money they normally spend if they came out, how would they do that?
Well, there's a couple different ways to do it. Thank you for asking. Number one, the Springfield Foundation runs and manages our Agricultural Society endowment.
Okay.
So they can make a gift through the Springfield Foundation that is completely tax deductible to the Clark County Agricultural Society endowment. The other thing they could do is, with this Freedom Tour coming up, buy a ticket for that whether you're coming or not.
Right.
That goes to Four Corners and the Ag Endowment. The other way is simply send a check, make a phone call right out here to the Clark County Fair office, and we'll give you an address, send a check right into here. It is a 501c3 and it's all tax deductible.
That's wonderful. Well, I encourage everybody to support out here. It's a great place for kids, adults, seniors, everyone. So thanks again, Dean.
Well, thank you for being here. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for watching another episode of A Conversation with Villa Springfield, and we'll talk soon.